My name is Annie Adkins. My husband and I have been in real estate for quite some time. We typically do things together, but I told him that he wasn't allowed to come on today. We don't, he's not a badass woman, so he doesn't need to be present. Yes, we teach on every third Wednesday at 4 p.m. So come and check us out. We have a coaching program with people all over the country. So it's not just specifically Ohio related that we teach. So we'd like to have you anytime you're available or wanting to check us out.
Just actually, before we get started, what kind of topics do y'all talk about?
Oh, okay. So Jay and I do pretty much everything in real estate. So we do private money fundraising. We do coaching for real estate and life. We've written a book. We do fix and flips. We have 50 rentals in our portfolio. We do or have done vacation rentals. We just got rid of most of those, and we're looking for some more actually now. But we used to do vacation rentals for 8 or 9 years. We do fix and flips. Like I said, we do buy, rehab, and rent. We do owner financing deals. We talk about literally anything and everything. We do Q&As sometimes, just if anybody has deals that they have issues with, we can go over stuff like that too. So yeah, just a little bit of everything sprinkled in there.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. So like I said, we've been in real estate for 20 years as of last year, which is crazy to me, but I didn't think that was even possible for me to be an adult for that long already. We've done over 500 deals total, and we have taught numerous students. Right now we have 14 to do the same thing we do across the country, whether it's in Ohio, whether it's in St. Louis, Missouri, whether it's in Birmingham, Alabama, it doesn't really matter. And like I said before, we do all things real estate. And our primary focus is Central Ohio for now, but I do have a countdown on my phone and have had it for quite some time that we will be moving to Florida in 2.5 years when our youngest is old enough to go out and venture out on her own. So, and the reason that we have chosen to really reach out and teach a bunch of people what we do is because in 2005, we had our own personal house and we had about 6 rentals and we lost everything to foreclosure. We had really no idea what a short sale was at that point in time. You know, foreclosures weren't really happening until 2007, 2008. So we had nowhere to go to kind of learn anything about what was happening or how to stop things. So we don't want people to be in the same position that we were back then. So we've really kind of focused our attention on helping develop a real estate business for people, helping sellers get out of difficult situations, whatever the case may be. So that is our passion and why we do what we do. So I'm going to talk today about owner finance deals and what they are and how we find them and all of the things. So what they are, they're also called like seller financing deals or subject to deals or, taking over payments for equity or whatever lingo you use, that they all basically mean the same thing. And basically you're going to talk to a seller and figure out what the best option is for them and for their situation, and then kind of figure out what fits best for both you and for them. So the first topic is how we find them, right? So we use Zillow. We check out all of the for rent or for sale by owner listings and just kind of reach out to them either by direct mail, a phone call, an email, finding them on Facebook and direct messaging them, all kinds of different ways to reach out to sellers. We use real estate agents and talk to them about how many listings they have that are over 30 days old. Those properties just don't seem to be moving for whatever reason on the MLS. So maybe we can reach out to those sellers and offer them a different option. We use Craigslist a lot, which sounds crazy in 2022 to say this, but it definitely works. Craigslist, again, we look for the for rent people and for the sale by owner people. We use Facebook groups a lot, and we go in and post regularly, looking for a house this week or looking to buy 3 or 4 houses in the next month or so. So how can we help you out of a situation or somebody that you know? And then referrals. We've been in business for, like I said, 20 years, and we've talked to a lot of different people in a lot of different scenarios and settings, and just, what we do, how we help people. We do a lot of Facebook Lives and Facebook videos of sellers that we've worked with and properties that we've taken over in different ways. So the more you talk about what you do, the more people know what you do, obviously, and therefore the referrals start coming in. And the longer you're in the business, the better the referrals get as far as more often and frequency. We use bandit signs. So for those of you that don't know bandit signs or what they are, this right here over in the corner, the image that I have there is a bandit sign. It says, sell me your house, or we buy houses, or distressed sellers wanted, or any of those things. You kind of work with them and tweak your message, similarly to the direct mail that Karen was talking about earlier. Tweak your message. We use call capture phone numbers on different things. So for instance, we would put a phone number on one of our bandit signs that says in our system, in our tracking system, that this is a bandit sign. And we may use a different phone number for a Facebook post. We may use a different phone number for an email or something that we send out versus or on Zillow or Craigslist, because that way you can track what marketing is working and what marketing isn't working, and then kind of tweak your marketing so you're not wasting money on stuff that isn't necessarily producing any leads for you. We do social media posts using those bandit signs sometimes, but like I said, we might tweak the phone number just to make sure that we're tracking it correctly in our follow-up systems as well. We do use direct mail. We've used direct mail for many, many, many years. And we've used yellow letters, which is a common term in real estate. We've used postcards. We've actually used greeting cards sometimes too, especially when we're reaching out to probate leads or something like that. Because like I said, we do it all in real estate. So the next topic I'm going to talk about is what we actually say to the sellers that we do reach. So with our marketing, we, as Karen mentioned, you do multiple touches and you reach out multiple times, multiple different ways, even if you would like and have the money to do so. A lot of our stuff that we currently use are free, like reaching out to people on social media, reaching out to people via Craigslist or Zillow, and talking to agents. That doesn't necessarily cost you any amount of money. And we always use those techniques as well as buying lists and doing direct mails. So, it's one six of one, half a dozen of the other. It just depends on if you have any money to put into your marketing campaigns or if you have time. And that's what we teach as real estate investors to our students too. So, if you have 5 to 10 hours a week because you work a full-time job, then you don't really have the extra money necessarily to put into direct mail, but there are ways of finding deals that way. Or if you don't necessarily have the time, but you have the money, then you can put money into your marketing and you can hire VAs, virtual assistants, or part-time assistant locally to you to help weed through and send out marketing and weed through the lists. And because we also take our lists and scrub them and skip trace them so that we get phone numbers and emails and things like that. And all of this can be done for free, or all of this can be done for you. It doesn't really matter. Again, it depends on the amount of time you have and the amount of money that you have to focus on your real estate business. So we reach out to the sellers once we get those hot leads and say, would you consider taking payments for a bit before we buy it outright from you? A lot of people have a number in their head that they want for their property, right? And then they also have like a bottom line of what they need to get out of their property. So sometimes sellers don't necessarily fixate on the fact that they have to sell now, especially if it's a property that's been on the MLS for 30 days or more. So we just talk to them a little bit and figure out their situation, find out what they need versus what they want, find out their timeline, find out their pain points, right? So is it a situation where they're on the verge of foreclosure? Is it a situation where they just are tired of dealing with it? We actually bought a property a couple of years ago now for $10. Yes, I have the check to prove it. It was for $10, but the seller was just distraught. It was a rental property for her and her husband. Her husband had passed away unexpectedly. She had just had a horrible tenant. She had dumped a bunch of money into rehabbing it and just did not want to deal with it anymore. She was a local teacher and she just was done. She said she was ready to just give it to the bank, but she didn't even care at this point because it was just so stressful for her. So we said, you know what? We will help you. We will take over the payments for you if you still have your mortgage, which she did. And then we put it in a land trust. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. And, we were 99% owners. She was 1% owner. We took over the headache as far as she was concerned. And we put a tenant buyer in there and profited really well. And we just actually paid that house off for her. So she's super excited. I can give you more for your house if you be the bank for a little bit. So like I said, there are some people that have this number in their head that they want for their property, but then they have a bottom line too. So if you kind of figure those two things out and then say, you know what, I can give you top dollar, but I'm going to have you hold the loan for a little bit for me. And you just have to build the relationship with the seller, make sure that you're upfront with them, because we always say we will give you top dollar because we plan on profiting from this as well. So, why not both of us make some money? I can pay you for what you want if you would consider taking payments for your equity. So again, if they have a mortgage, we just take over the mortgage payment. And if they don't have a mortgage and it's paid in full, then we offer them a monthly payment or a yearly payment divided into monthly payments so that yearly number sticks in their head, or, the cash flow from that property is something that entices them. We also say that we'll take over payments and be responsible for all repairs and anything that comes up, which is totally true. We do this with all of our creative financing deals. We take over the payments or we take over the ownership of the property. We're responsible for all the repairs. We put an insurance policy on it. We are fully owners as far as everything else is concerned. If there's holding costs, we cover them. If we need to put utilities on, they're in our names and we take all responsibility. We always try to improve the property from the time that we get it till the time that we sell it to either a tenant buyer or an outright buyer. So it always increases the value. We also try to find a tenant buyer that would do the same, right? Because you don't want somebody to come in there and tear stuff up, because then it's just like a regular rental. You just eat your profits up consistently into fixing things up. So, and we always make sure that they understand that you won't have to worry about anything concerning the house. It will be our responsibility. If it's full of stuff and you don't want to mess with it, leave whatever you don't want there and we'll take care of it. We're trying to make things as easy as possible for the sellers. So what do we do to close the deals? We try to make the sellers comfortable as possible. Like I said, you have to build a relationship with them so that they feel comfortable in talking to you about what their wants and needs are in the situation and how we could best possibly help them get out of the situation and help them have a better relaxing experience than what they've had before. We have a title search done with a title company to make sure that there are no liens on the property that we're unaware of. We check with local utility companies because here in Ohio, the water bill goes with the property. So if they had a tenant in there and they've never paid a water bill and there's an $800 or $900 water bill, you have to take that into consideration when you are thinking about how much you're going to offer them, whether it's an outright takeover or payments for equity or whatever the case may be. You have to make sure that you have your bottom dollar as to what you need out of pocket. We do an inspection. Now, Jay is a licensed contractor here in the state of Ohio. So he has done our inspections for many, many, many years. But, it's not that difficult to find a home inspector to come in and inspect for you to make sure that, things are good. Make sure that you personally are checking the mechanicals of the house. If you don't know if something is good or not, get an electrician to check it, or get a home inspector to check it, or have an HVAC guy come in and service the furnace and air conditioner to make sure that everything is working properly. We review the mortgage if there is a mortgage on the property. And we talk about, if your mortgage is called due by the loan company, then this is what we would do. We would put it in a land trust and it stays in your name and you are part owner until that land trust is dissolved and the house is sold. So we set up a land trust, which basically is similar to a land contract. It's not the same thing, but it's similar. And like I said, we're 99% owners. The seller is 1% owner. And then we record that at the recorder's office so that it is proof that Jay and myself are owner of record. And we get a new insurance policy set up with us as owners and the seller as a lost payee. So if anything happens to the house, then we are both covered and the mortgage still gets paid off if there's one in place and everything is good to go. we did have an insurance claim on one of our properties that we had this set up in a land trust. So it gets a little tricky if you don't continue the relationship with the seller, because the seller gets cut the check. So you have to figure out how that's going to work. So just maintain the relationship, even if it's a check-in once a month. Say, hey, how's it going? We just wanted to let you know, this is the situation. Just maintain a relationship with the seller until the mortgage is paid off if they have one, or until they are paid off if they're doing equity payments. I saw somebody raise their hand. I don't want to ignore them, but I'm going to have time for questions and answers when this presentation is finished. Once we close the deal, we mark it for a tenant or a tenant buyer. And it honestly depends on what you want to do with the property itself. We've purchased single family homes this way that we've kept in our rental portfolio. And then we've purchased single family homes this way that we have no intentions of keeping long term. And it's just different. We actually, every property that's a single family home, we market for a tenant or a tenant buyer, so that we can really offer first-time home buyers that are not quite ready to purchase an opportunity to have a house that's their own, that they can put equity into as well by fixing it up and doing some sweat equity is what we call it. And then we do an application process so that they are filling out applications. We do not necessarily background checks, but we verify income. We ask for references, all of that. So it's very much on the up and up, and everybody is fully aware of what's going on. And we do have a process of screening those tenants. So we check for any kind of foreclosures on their credit or on their record, any kind of record of about at all, whether it's legal or we don't do a credit check, but we make sure that their income is right and that they don't have any derogatory marks of, like I said, an eviction or a lawsuit or a lien of any kind on anything. We do have them consult with a mortgage lender and then figure out where their credit falls depending on how many people are in the house and how their job fits with that and what they need to work on in order to get to a place where they can buy outright. And then we get a pre-approval letter or a letter of explanation from that mortgage lender as well to put in their file. We do lease option agreements. So it's a lease, but with an option to buy for tenant buyers. So they are saying, yes, we agree to pay, for instance, $895 a month or $1,200 a month, depending on the house. And in 2 years, we will also have the right to purchase the house at a set price. And we typically set the purchase price on the high end of what the comps are, because it's going, in theory, we all hope that the real estate market continues to increase in value and not decrease. But we can adjust that at the 2-year mark or however long we set the agreement for. And typically the length of the lease option agreement is set based on what the mortgage lender consultation and letter says. And then we walk through those houses with the tenant, and they walk through, and we have a checklist as to what is the condition of the house, what's in the house appliance wise or not, because we don't always supply appliances for lease option properties, but most of the time we do, and we both agree, okay, this is what the condition of the house is, and this is the condition that needs to continue to be in. And if you move out, then, we do a walk-through move out process too. Can't seem to talk today. Sorry about that, guys. One of the first things that we do and really kind of make sure that we know what's going on and what we are after as far as our business is concerned is to create a vision. So what do you want? What do you want your business to look like? What do you want your life to look like? We always talk a lot about vision because that's one of our driving forces. A lot of people spend more time planning their wedding and their funeral than they do their life. So we really take time to teach this to our students and do this with our family. Even our kids have a vision for their life. Jay and I have a vision for our life. And then that kind of bleeds into what our vision for our businesses are. And we have several businesses too, because I have LLCs set up for each thing that we do. So, really kind of lay out what you're after, because what you're after ultimately determines how many deals that you need to do and how much marketing you need to do and how hard you have to work, right? So if you figure out what you want in your life and put a price tag on all of the things, then you can figure out exactly how much money you need to make on a yearly and monthly basis to then figure out how many deals you need to make in order for that money to come in order for your vision to happen. And then we set an action plan based on those numbers. And creating a follow-up system, which is what Karen talked about in marketing too. We have a follow-up system for this too, because no doesn't mean no necessarily. It just means not right now. So it could be that they change their mind in 3 months. It could be that they change their mind in a week. It could be that they change their mind in a year. We continue to follow up with those people. Typically after about 9 months, we just kind of let it be until they reach back out to us. But we always kind of send them some emails or text messages or whatever, just to say, hey, we're still here. We haven't forgotten about you. And you can do that with spreadsheets. You can do that with a notebook. You can do that with online software and tools like Freedom Soft or REI Black Book or REI Blue. There's many, many, many CRMs and follow-up systems that you can create yourself or find online. We set up a team, and I don't mean that people that work for you. I mean, obviously that's part of your team as well. If you want to build this, not ginormous, but potentially ginormous real estate business. I'm talking about setting up a team of agents that you talk to about leads that they have on the market for longer than 30 days. Direct mail people like Karen and other people across the country to pull lists and even set up your marketing itself, what works best and what doesn't. A title company agent or a title agent, I guess, to do all of your title work. We always close everything through a title company because that's how we close things here in Ohio. I know lots of places have attorneys too, but it just makes the seller feel more comfortable about the situation and that everything is on the up and up. When you have an attorney that looks over all of your documents, when you have a title company that closes all of your deals, when you work with other people in the real estate realm to create your team of people that your go-to, your go-to people for marketing, your go-to people for list pulling, your go-to people for title work. So just reach out and network and, take the time to set up those relationships so that everybody feels more comfortable about what they're doing. Know what your market allows, because there are a lot of places where wholesaling in particular, which is another realm of real estate that we deal with. Some people allow things with wholesaling, some people don't. And it's state determined. It's not just people that allow it, but there are some title companies that don't allow certain things as well. So you just need to know what your market allows and what you're allowed to do legally to help people get out of situations that they're in. And just, know what you need to do and what you're going to do and how to do it, and then get to work. So you just need to make sure that you have an action plan set, have your marketing ready. If you have money to throw at marketing, know what your budget is for marketing every month so that okay, I can send out this many marketing newsletters or yellow letters or postcards or bandit signs or whatever you need to do. There are a lot of places between all of the states that we've invested in, which is Ohio, South Carolina, and Florida. Some cities allow bandit signs. Some cities don't allow bandit signs. Some cities fine you for every bandit sign that you have. And those fines can range from $5 to $250 per sign. And maybe even more. I don't know. I'm just basing it off of my experience and what we've come across. Some places allow you to put bandit signs out on a Friday night and not worry about them until Monday morning. Some places you can put them out all over the place. It just depends. So you really need to make sure that you're, researching your market, researching your area, making sure that you know what you can and cannot do and what you can and cannot get away with, because we're not breaking any laws, but we stretch some ordinances, I guess, with putting them out on Friday night and picking them up on Monday morning kind of thing with our marketing tools. It's not that we would get in trouble. We would probably get a warning if they even saw them, or they would just pull them and put them in the trash. So you need to have that in mind when you're setting up a marketing budget too. So you could potentially lose 20 signs. So do you have the money to replace those? Or do you need to go after the Craigslist leads and the networking leads by working with agents? So, you just got to kind of fine tune what you want versus what you need, and then figure that out, right? How to get to where you are and where you want to be and how much money that's going to take. And again, it all comes down to what you have time for and what you have money for. And if you want to invest in your business with either one, you can hire all of this stuff done for you, virtual assistants or local assistants. There are lots of times where we start teams with stay-at-home moms that just want to get out of the house for 3 or 4 hours a week, that we have them put bandit signs out or start marketing with us and for meetings with agents and stuff. We have, that's actually how our assistant Bonnie, who has been with us 8 years, started with us. She was ready to get back into the workforce and she had 10 hours a week to work. So we just put her to work there. And now she's been with us 8 years and worked full time since then. So it just depends on, setting up the right team and the action plan to get you going, and knowing what to say and how to say it and working on those relationships. So real estate can be as easy or as difficult as you make it, is what I've decided over the last 20 years. So Jay and I are best sellers on Amazon. We wrote a book several years ago that's called Vision Focused Life. We used to be coaches for a group that's called Life and Air, and it's very focused on having a vision for your life and your business. And we did really well with developing a vision for our life and our businesses. And we just feel like that's part of why we've been so successful over the last 20 years. So this is a picture of our book. And I know I talked a little bit faster than I was planning on, which doesn't surprise me whatsoever. So I have a little bit more time for questions, or I can go over a few more things in more detail now that we're through it all. But we are offering a free checklist specifically about creative financing deals and seller financing deals. So if this link right here that says https://go.jandannieadkins.com, that will take you to that checklist that we're giving away for free. And then this is our website as well, jandannieadkins.com. So you can get a hold of us in any scenario or situation. If you would like some more information about any of the stuff that we've talked about today or any other things that we can reach out and help you with, we are completely open and willing to help as many people as possible reach their goals and dreams.
Hey everybody, it's Jay.
This is Annie.
We are so grateful for you joining us on our podcast and listening in and participating. We want to offer you this additional free bonus, and that is joining our Facebook group.
Yes, where we will have other individuals, not just us, but having conversations on all things real estate, and we would love to have you join us. So just click the link below and head on over and join our group.
Thanks guys, we'll see you on the other side.